friend, welcome back to my channel. Today, I am very excited to be sharing with you my first update for my Project Pan. As a reminder, I am doing updates every 3 months to sort of help make the project more manageable and to also kind of have better read of usage. I was finding the last year or so that I didn't really enjoy doing Project Pan updates every single month because I didn't always have a lot of substantial progress to note with the items that I had chosen. And I felt like this would be a more feasible and enjoyable way to document the progress. And so far, I think it's working out pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and basically break this into a few parts. I'm going to give you some items that I haven't touched at all based on the season, one item that I am decluttering, items that I've used up, items I have progress on, and then lastly, items that I am bringing in to the next 3-month installment. So hopefully that sounds good to you, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the 2 items that I've got that really don't have any noticeable usage because I really haven't touched them based on what I've got going on would be this concealer. It's my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in Fair 110. This was the starting line. This I have not used because I have not yet finished up the other concealer that I was bringing in, and I tend to find that I really like this more during the summer, spring types of months because it's not as intense and it matches more of my skin tone, and I don't really need brightening underneath my under eyes in those months because I'm naturally out in the sun more, getting a bit more color and looking less generally translucent. So this has not been used yet, but I'm sure I will have some usage to update you on in my next 3-month installment. Other one that I have is the Smashbox Lip Lacquer in the shade Flushed. The font on here is tiny, I promise you. This I haven't pulled out and used because I had 2 other lip glosses that I pulled into this particular project, and this one just hadn't yet gotten pulled in the lineup. So maybe I'll pull it out more and kind of switch off. We'll see. But for now, it just hasn't been touched. All right, now let's move into items that are coming out of the challenge either because they're being decluttered or they were used up. The first is this Sephora pencil. So I had every intention to use this up until the actual pencil came out of the wood. This just shows me how old this is and was not able to be used up. I'm not super upset about it because I really don't prefer pencil liners over my lovely felt tip liners, but it is kind of a bummer that I got so far and wasn't able to finish it off, but it is what it is. So I am officially decluttering this. And then I've got 4 products that I'm really excited to say I have finished off. So the first is a lip gloss. I worked through the Hard Candy Plumping Serum Volumizing Lip Gloss in the shade Nude Beach 1395. This gloss is so delightful. I was basically at the tail end of it here when I brought it in at the start of the year, but because I took the stopper out, I literally scraped the sides of this, got a ton of product out of it. It lasted longer than I thought it would have. So I'm really, really happy with this. It is a lovely gloss, and I've resisted going out and rebuying it because I do have so many glosses in my collection, but definitely one where I feel like if you're looking for just a basic nudie pink type of drugstore lip gloss, this is the one you want. It is delightful. I also finished off one of the primers that I brought in. It was my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. I started the year here, and this was the go-to one that I was using Monday through Friday. It was perfect for the time of year that I had it because what I liked about this product was in the height of winter, my skin gets really dull looking. I mean, I'm hardly seeing the sun. I would go into school, the sun was rising. I'd leave school, the sun was setting, not enough sunlight in the New England area. And so this was really nice to just sort of help brighten my face a little bit underneath my foundation. So I really did enjoy it. Not something that I need to rebuy or have in my collection. Doesn't matter anyways because Becca is no longer in existence, but I'm glad I was able to use it because it was on the older side. The next 2 items I've used up, I'm really, really excited about, but also a little bit sad. It's an end of an era for both of them. The first one that I have is this blush. Yes, I said it, a blush. It's the NYX Rouge Cream Blush in Boho Chic. Look at all of that delightful, shiny pan. I don't know how this happened, but it basically sat in my collection pretty underrated for a long time. And then I feel like 2 years ago, I got really into this color. It was just like a basic matte rosy pink type of shade that went with any look. I basically could put it with any eyeshadow look and it would go well. It just did a nice job. I felt like it was easy to build on my skin. It had a nice texture. I have no idea if they still make this. I'm gonna go with probably not. And I was really surprised it didn't turn on me because I've had it for so freaking long, but I'm really proud of myself for using up a blush. I don't have a lot of cream blushes in my collection. I'm mostly like a powder blush person because interestingly, I am somebody who prefers to use like liquid or cream products more in the winter and drier months than I am in the spring and summer months, because personally for me, I like that these make my skin in those duller months look a bit more lively and awake, whereas in the summer, your girl's already like kind of sweaty. It's very humid where I live in New England. Like we basically have like real cold and dry and then real humid, and like those are our seasons. And so I don't love to apply a lot of these cream products in those seasons because I feel like it just makes me look shinier and sweatier than I already will naturally become. So it's a really big accomplishment. I'm very happy it's used up, but also sad because it was like a true go-to for me for a long time. The other one I'm sad about because apparently it's not going to be made anymore. I don't know what is going on, but it's the YSL Touche Éclat Le Tint Radiance Awakening Foundation. What is happening? Literally, I went, I feel like back in January when I was going and pulling information about the products, I went to go to Sephora's site and they only had like 3 shades of this and it's like super discounted. And then I Googled it and it seems like this has been discontinued. I don't know why. It's a lovely, lovely foundation. I was in the shade BR10 Cool Porcelain. I guess I shouldn't be too upset because it's very, very pricey and I needed to stop buying it. This had to have been my 4th or 5th one of these. Even though it was so pricey, I just couldn't not buy it because it's such a good color match for me. It's one of those foundations that was thin and lightweight and had a nice coverage, but didn't look heavy on my face. Like, so sad about it. I was here at the start of the challenge and I've since worked it through. My only complaint I noticed with this bottle compared to other ones was that I had a really hard time from this line down spraying product out, like pumping product out. It was really, really finicky. I don't know if it was just because the straw wasn't long enough or what the deal was, but I had to work really hard to get product out of here. I did a lot of like scraping and pouring, which is kind of annoying for how pricey this is, but happy I worked through it. Sad it seems to be gone though, and I'll be curious if they come out with like a reformulation of this. I'm gonna keep my eyes on this one because it is a great foundation. All right, now let's go ahead and discuss the items that I have not yet finished but have made progress on. The first 2 are the other foundations I brought in. So I have my Believe, which I think is now Belief Beauty Skin Finish Foundation, medium to full coverage in the shade Shell, which I think is their lightest one. This basically was my go-to. Once I started the challenge, I was using this basically every single day. It was my like good go-to school makeup and I made a pretty good dent on it. I decided to stop though because I really wanted to, as I was seeing like the halfway point to our first update. I thought to myself, like, I really want to have one finish, so that's why I switched over to the YSL one, but this is really great. It's, I'm pretty sure, $5, really cheap. I think now that I'm done with my YSL one, I'll probably come back to this more regularly because I do think it's a true medium coverage type of product, which I don't dislike. It's definitely a little bit heavier on my face feeling than the YSL one is, but it's a good alternative. So I hopefully will have this done in the 3-month period. And then the other one that I have, just can't quit her. It's my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This foundation and I have such a challenging relationship. It is not the right shade for me, which is its first problem. It is 140, which I don't know what they call that, but it's 140, and it is a really heavy foundation on my face. It's what I have on right now. It's a foundation that by the end of the day, I feel it and I want to take it off. It is very full coverage. I feel like it looks like makeup compared to what I personally prefer and gravitate towards. And I also have to mix it to kind of help make it match my face better. It's not my favorite, and I feel like I'm only pushing myself to use it because it was so expensive. At this point, it is the most expensive foundation I have now that the YSL one is used off. I do have some progress on it. This is where I am at. It's definitely challenging because the pump doesn't quite work anymore. So I'm just slowly working through it, and I'm going to try to challenge myself to basically once a week wear it and see if that's how I can finish off this last bottom. I don't have much of this left, so I'm really hoping, if nothing else, between the two of these, that this one is definitely finished off, if not both of them. Continuing with complexion products, I've got two concealers. These are my go-to concealers right now. I have my under eye concealer, which is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Light to Vanilla. This one, I arguably could call as empty. I am truly scraping the sides of this. Like you can see, I've got a lot of light coming through when I look into it. I scrape the sides when I pull the wand out and apply it. I basically am at a point where I'm still pushing to get use out of it and not call it quits because it still is working for this time of year. I like a brightening concealer until we get more consistent daylight hours and more outdoors time for me, because then I find at that point that I can switch over to my Maybelline, my more like natural tone, not brightening, but more just like balancing out my darker under eyes. And that doesn't quite work for this time of year. So I think once I work through the rest of this sort of start of spring season, then I'll be able to call this quits. But for now, it's on its last legs. The other one that I have is my spot concealer. It's the Revlon Photo Ready Concealer. This is in the shade 001 Fair. And this, my friend, is all I have left. You can see the little plastic at the very base there, not a ton. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of the product because, as you can see here, it is at an angle like a lipstick, interestingly. But I'm keep plugging away at it, looking at my little tube. This is where I started the year and this is where I am now. I don't feel like that looks that significant, but this is hard to draw a line for, and this is not level. As you can see, it's kind of like lumpy rounded. So I'm slowly working through it. It's not a race because all I'm going to do when this is used up is buy this exact same thing again, as long as they still have it. I really do like it as a concealer underneath my foundation because I find that it doesn't move around when I blend it with a beauty blender. I find that sometimes with especially liquid concealers, they tend to just kind of blend together with my foundation. I can still see like a red spot through there. This I don't have that problem with, so I really do like it, and I'm just curious to see how long it lasts, and it is pretty good for its price point. Now, to set all of that, I have my go-to setting powder that has minimal usage, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. So even though I use this every single day, you can see here I have barely made a dent on it. I don't use a lot of setting powder, and if you look at my setting powder collection, based on that, I should not own any of the other setting powders that I have, but I have a lot of like sample ones that I have acquired. And so this one is very slow moving, but it's my favorite. I think it works really well for a natural, non-powdery looking finish. I am somebody who just likes to smooth everything together and kind of set it in place. And I feel like this checks off both of those boxes, and it's a great price point. So I'm a little bit surprised I don't have more progress to show, and it's gonna last me like a bajillion more years, but I really do like it as a product. All right, let's talk primer. So I have one other primer that I had pulled in originally. It was my Beauty Blender, the Leveler Pore Minimizing Primer. This thing. So I have used it a couple of times to try to get product out of, and it's just very difficult. So I am trying to find a moment to look into how to hack into this and be able to scoop the product out. I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can like cut it across, or at least cut this top part off, but it is like relatively thick plastic. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, or if I'm gonna have to try to like take my beauty spatula and shove it in there and get product out. very annoying. So I'll be curious to see what this looks like at the next update, because I'm hoping I can depot it and then use it up pretty quickly, but we'll see. Other primary type of product that I have is my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. This I feel like I use every single day, but I don't feel like the amount of usage looks that noteworthy. I feel like you can see better on the side that it is getting thinner and thinner on the glass. I don't know if the base of this is domed at all or if it's like flat across. I'm really curious to see how much further I have to go. I mean, I try to just continuously level it off is kind of the methodology I use. Again, I'm not super upset that it's taking a longer time to use up, because this thing is real expensive and I use it every single time I apply eyeshadow. It's just like a nice base on my lids. So slowly but surely working through this puppy. All right, so that brings us into our last facet of items for the update, and those are lip items. So I have a NYX lip pencil that I brought in. I haven't used this maybe more than like a couple of times because I've been working more on the Mally product, but this is what we have to show for it. I'm sure this will have a lot more progress once I'm done with the Mally one, which since I'm talking about it, let me go ahead and show you. She does not have long left in her life. This is where we are at. I basically apply this like a filled in lip liner, and then I apply any gloss I want over it. It is something that I'm kind of surprised I haven't worked through yet, but I'm hoping to be able to have it finished off in the next 3 months. And not only that, but I'm hoping to have it finished off earlier than that so that I can have somewhat noticeable progress here on the NYX one. Since I finished off my hard candy gloss, I immediately wanted to come in with my House Laboratories. This is the La Riot lip gloss in Venus. I was a fool, however, when I pulled this in. I really thought I was further along in this than I was, because I pulled out the stopper, and as you can see, I am now left with like a hot, gloopy mess. It's like such a difficult thing for me with stoppers. I feel like I was struggling to get sufficient gloss on the wand because the stopper was really swiping it out, which made me think that there wasn't a lot of gloss left in here. But I think the reality was the stopper was just really sucking so much product off, and I'm kind of like a little lip gloss goblin. I like to have a lot of gloss on these lips. So it's definitely made it more challenging to use. It's now no longer a purse lip gloss. I keep it just on my vanity, so I'm only really applying it when I apply makeup in the morning or when I like do some refreshing before I film, which is not very often these days. So she's moving quite slowly, but I do enjoy the color and I do enjoy the gloss, so it's okay that it's not moving at the fastest rate. On the flip side though, I am beside myself that I have not finished off my Trader Joe's #1 Almond Cream Moisturizing Lip Balm. I don't know how there is this much left. I swear to you guys, I apply this every single day. I apply it when I'm getting ready in the morning, and it just is moving so slow. Here is all the progress. 3 months worth of progress is right there. It's not a lot. I don't understand why or how. This is gonna be the world's longest lasting lip balm of my existence. I don't know. I'm really hoping I can have it finished off. My plan here is basically, once I'm done with my nighttime lip balm, I'm going to move this there. I don't really know how that's going to expedite its usage because I only apply my nightstand lip balm when I go to bed. So once a day, kind of like what I'm doing now, but perhaps it'll make me feel like I'm working through it more. I don't know, but this is just ridiculous how long it's taking. Okay, so now that we have talked through all of that, there are only 2 products I want to bring in. I really looked hard at my makeup collection and looked at things I wanted to commit myself to using, and there were really only 2 that I have an interest in wanting to make a concerted effort to use up, and they are both primers. The first is a relatively new to me face primer. It's the Joa Heal Me Sicca Blurring and Cooling Primer. This caught my eye at my local CVS. They had a whole like separate cardboard display for a number of items from this line, but this is the one that caught my attention most. The description on the back says you can help stressed skin chill out, experience a cooling sensation as our balancing primer smooths your complexion and calms the appearance of redness with a hydrating blend of Centella azatica, aka Sicca, and aloe vera. That I thought was really interesting for claims. I'm also somebody who wants to blur the look of my skin and help with redness, so it does sort of meet some of my needs. I will not lie to you, it has a true cooling sensation. I feel like it really is very noticeable. I also like the packaging of this. I feel like JOA products are pretty underrated, so I'm happy so far with this. I've only used it a few times, so I don't have any kind of like line to show for it, but I thought it would be nice to kind of help balance out the leveler because I don't love using that one because of its packaging. And then I'm also bringing in the world's worst packaged eye primer, and that's the ColourPop Party Proof Eye Primer. You know what? I'm mad at myself. I decided to stray from the Milani one, and that's what I get for it. This stuff is the worst for packaging. It is packaged with this wand, which does not actually get any product on it. It is such a terrible stopper system that it sucks all the product off. So inevitably, I just take that cap off entirely and I just squeeze product out, which gives me always too much product. Like, it's such a headache to work with this, but I refuse to buy any other eye primer. This is the only one that I have in my collection. I want to get this used up. The actual product isn't bad, but it's so poorly packaged, I would not get it again unless they change their tune. I wish that they would just get rid of this wand business and give me a tip like the Milani one, and then I'd be fine with it, but this wand business is garbage. I'm pretty far into the product. I am about, I'd say, halfway on it, which, thank goodness. Hopefully it'll be gone in the next 3 months and I can go back to the beloved Milani one of my life, because this just ain't it. All right, so there you have it. Some really awesome usage with some staple products that I've spent a long time working on, and some other items that I'm hoping to have finished off in the next 3 months. As always, thank you so much for being here and cheering me on as I take on these many different projects throughout the year, and I'll hopefully catch you in my next video real soon.